Welcome to the Tolerable Nausea podcast. I am Russ.
I'm Toby.
And this is Eric.
And today's topic is law enforcement.
Popos.
Yep. Police. Well, not just police, but I'm still saying police, not just police. Police, like I have ebonics. The police.
How he says it in the streets.
Yeah, exactly.
The little one time.
Anyway, not just necessarily police, though that's probably the extent of my involvement with law enforcement. But, I guess that would still encompass maybe court and judicial shit, too. But,
You've never been investigated by the feds?
I've had not run-ins, but I've been kind of wrist slapped by the IRS a few times.
Yeah, they got me good this last tax season.
Yeah. But, okay, this bam, we're starting right off on a rant here. Okay, I just mentioned the IRS, and we're talking about law enforcement, and I need to find this out. I need to talk to somebody who actually is intimately familiar with U.S. laws and constitutionality and all this stuff. But because conspiracy theories, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of internet shit here lately, but I heard there was a documentary that said that there is no law that justifies the IRS taxing us.
Oh no, you can totally choose to step out and not pay taxes, but that also disqualifies you from every other thing that the government does. You know what I mean?
But they will put you in jail as though you're a criminal if you don't pay taxes.
I thought there was
but I've heard that they're not justified doing that. It's like a mafia type thing. Like, people have never questioned it, so we're all in fear of this. So we pay the taxes because it's told to us that it's the law. But according to this deal that I heard and read, it was the Supreme Court had defined income as capital gains and something else, basically having to do with investments and corporations, things like that. That was defined as income, and that it was unconstitutional for the government to tax wages and salaries.
Well, sons of bitches.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's true. It's probably not true, but it's got me asking questions now, and I want to find out for sure what's going on here.
This is just hearsay. Let's call H&R.
Well, because in the interview on the thing, this guy, of course, he was doing the documentary, and he was interviewing somebody that was apparently ranked pretty high in the IRS, and this guy. I mean, he was just caught way off guard with the amount of knowledge that the interviewer actually had. He wasn't expecting somebody to actually be calling him out on their bullshit. And so he kept dodging questions and contradicting himself. They'd record a statement and then he'd say something later, which was in direct opposition to what he had said earlier in the interview. So the guy didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And it was disturbing because it's maybe they can't tax us, but since nobody's fucking asking any questions and everybody has just accepted it and assumes that is the law, that's the way it is. Because they can put you in jail for not paying your taxes, which is apparently unconstitutional and completely against the law for them to do that.
And if there's anyone listening who works for the IRS, I, for one, have nothing but the greatest respect for you people.
Yeah.
You're fighting the good fight.
Completely fine. Giving you my money.
Now, Russell.
You got to get this guy. He's got some ideas. I mean, you need to go after this guy. He's a danger to society.
You find him driving around in his Porsche and you get him.
It's ideas like this that can cause problems. I'm contributing to what's wrong with society and repeating something I heard, which I know nothing about. I just heard it. I just think it's worth asking some questions.
That's somebody else's fight.
I still have my tinfoil hat on from episode 2. And I can't seem to get it off. I'm going to have to go to the doctor.
So law enforcement. You guys have any run-ins with the law?
Yep.
I've had a few run-ins with the law, but every time that I do, I was in the wrong. So I was generally pretty cool. They caught me. I was breaking the law. Every time. Well, I got of course I got the DUI and all that stuff that one time.
Yeah.
And there was a theft by unlawful taking, which I always feel like I need to clarify on this so people don't think that I'm some fucking criminal mentality. We talked about this, how I said I'm not a criminal, and then people hear me say theft by unlawful taking. Well, that means you're a criminal. Yeah, by definition I have committed a crime, but it was such a stupid thing. It was like a prank, basically.
What'd you do?
Stole license plates.
Oh, yeah.
And of course the cops are asking us, and they're just shaking their heads because they know we're a bunch of dumb fucks. And they're asking us legitimate questions about crime, like, were you planning on putting these plates on another vehicle and this and that? And we're like, no, we were trying to collect a certain number of states. And they just shook their heads. It's like these fucking idiots. And so we didn't go to jail that night. And he said, but we got your addresses and we're going to come search your apartment or whatever, and as long as you guys cooperate or whatever, then which at the time I didn't have a problem with because I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, you come in and find it. And of course, he's rooting through things and he found my secret porn stash, and I just like giggled. But after I thought about it, I was like, they didn't arrest us at that point. They hadn't charged us with anything, and they didn't have a warrant. We gave them permission.
Well, that's all they need.
But the way I think that, they can do that with permission. But at the same time, I guess, I didn't think about it at the time, but I guess if I had refused permission, all that does is just make you look guilty.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
warrant.
Yeah, or they would have just arrested us that night because they did catch us with stolen property. So,
well, catching you with a stolen property, doesn't that give them probable cause?
Yeah,
I suppose, but they'd still have to get a warrant, wouldn't they?
I think once they have probable cause, they're good to go in.
But what does that have to do with my apartment?
Looking for more stolen goods, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure how that all works. It's always been real confusing to me about probable cause and search and seizure.
Yeah, and they said, and
stuff.
of course they didn't find anything, and so that's why they believed that it was just kind of an isolated deal and that we were just fucking idiots, because they said, like, normally, people that steal stuff, they'll like display it as trophies, and I had thought back to certain situations, and I was like, yeah, that seems seems like something that somebody that does that might do. I was going to cover my entire bedroom wall with license plates. No, I wasn't.
Any run-ins there, Toby?
Oh, yeah. I was a dumb shit when I was a teenager.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's see. First time I got in trouble, we stole some spray paint from a hardware store and tagged our logo on some trash cans in a few buildings, it was PK for Preppy Killer, because
you guys are hardcore.
We were fucking hardcore, Russell.
How many preppies did you get?
Now, how many preppies have you killed in your day?
None.
No.
I was just
you just hadn't got around to that yet.
I was just poor white trash, so I was against preppies.
Well, it's all about branding. You gotta have a logo first and then work your way
got
up.
caught
It's psychological, man. You get your names out there on the properties, and people start to fear you, and you get respect that way. That's how you get respect.
And then you won't have to kill any preppies.
Any respect. I just had to the one guy let me. Like, I got one thing I painted, one garage I painted got dropped because the guy let me repaint his garage.
Oh, that was your
cool.
Your punishment is you just
for
had
him,
to.
Yeah, and then I got charged. Then they were all criminal mischief. And then I paid restitution.
See, that's what I was hoping that they would charge me with on my deal. Like, once they heard the story and they knew what happened, I hated the way theft by unlawful taking looked in the newspaper. And I worked at the newspaper at that time, which was really embarrassing. It's like little black marker, and I could have made that go away, but I didn't because that's not ethical. But, that would be an abuse of power. But I was really hoping that they would reduce that after hearing how fucking stupid we were to something like criminal mischief. Because that, to me, like seeing somebody listed for criminal mischief, that implies that it was just some stupid fucking activity. And I'm not saying it's innocent, it's dumb, but they're more of an idiot than they are a criminal. Yeah, and theft by unlawful taking makes you look like a criminal, and so
it sounds more sinister.
Exactly. Like, I wasn't breaking in, stealing fucking stereos and.
See, I did that. I was around the same time. There was some stuff parked at the fairgrounds. We broke into.
You joke around about it, Toby, but you are hardcore.
We broke into a van that took like 2 hours to get into, and we took. Well, the TV that was in it and the speakers, which we had nothing to do with, like nowhere to put them after we got them out of there. So we gave them to the chief of police sons, thinking that was okay. And then the cops found out about everything we did, oddly enough.
How'd they crack the case?
I don't fucking know. Gene Colombo had to show up. So I got like theft of over.
He knew his first name. That's awesome.
Theft of over 1,000 for that, and this was all together. So I had like 10 counts at one time. So I was on probation for like a year and a half.
Holy shit.
$1,000 restitution.
How old are you when this is going on?
14.
Oh, okay. So
$1,000 restitution, and then like hours of community service.
What'd you do for service?
I did it with my stepbrother at the time. And his grandma owns like a bunch of land in between.
Oh, I get it. You just said that you did it with your stepbrother.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But his grandma owns a bunch of land in between a couple towns east of here, and we just help her like clean up stuff and burn dead wood and stuff for a little bit of it. So
they go by hours, right?
Yeah,
you have to so many hours.
But then I worked at the fairgrounds too. I had to help them put up fucking fence and clean out the Quonsets there, and I had to repaint a trash can there, oddly enough, with spray paint. Not one that I painted there.
That's some irony right there.
I was just
like, this guy's good at this. Let's put it to good use.
Outside in the dead of summer, just spray paint a trash can, giggling.
Did they ever flip you any shit? Be like, here you go, here's your spray paint, Picasso, get to work.
Yeah, and I did like so shitty, it was all runny and everything. you think you know what you were doing? Like, no, I just spray painted 2 letters on trash cans and moved on.
They flipped me shit when I got arrested when I was in there.
And we got caught for the spray paint we stole. So we got that too.
Who flipped you shit?
The cops at the cop shop when I got a DUI. Because it was like 9 o'clock at night. And they're like, man, usually we don't get you guys till 1 in the morning. They're like, well, I'm an overachiever. What can I say?
Going strong.
Well, I got like a minor in possession one time. And that was it was stupid. But the worst thing is when I was 18, my senior year, I went booze cruising with a couple of friends, and we got this shitty ass fucking Mercury fucking Topaz or whatever the hell they're. It was a piece of shit car. I got stuck in the mud. And we tried for like hours to find somebody to help us get it out of the mud, and then finally we just
flagged down a cop.
No. But finally, this farmhouse, like, nobody was there. They wouldn't answer their door or nothing, but they had a tractor in the garage with the keys in it.
I remember this story. And I did think, man, that was stupid.
And one of the guys kind of figured out how to drive the tractor, so we just used the tractor to push the car out of the mud. But we didn't put the tractor back. We left it there. And then we went home.
Somebody left a cell phone or something in that tractor, didn't they?
No, I don't know. This is because this is 2000. We didn't have cell phones back then. And we stopped at a car wash to spray all the mud off the car. I think somebody saw us there because it was the summer. No, it wasn't the summer, but it was a weekend. And then the cops showed up at school questioning all of us after that.
But they didn't ever explain how they...
No,
I mean, just seeing a dirty car at the car wash, I don't think there was enough to incriminate all of you.
There's another kid they thought was involved that wasn't there, so I don't know how.
Somebody.
But we told some people, so they might have told.
Yeah, there was your big mistake. You can't be telling people.
So everybody.
Well, okay, no, your big mistake was committing the crime.
Yeah. And like, I got wrote up at work the next day because we didn't get home till like 9 in the morning. I had to work at 11, and we just slept through the shift. It was like just a little shitty 11-2 shift at the restaurant, and we woke up in time to go do the post rush and leave. We got wrote up, me and one of the other guys, and then I was moving to Colorado Springs after I graduated, and the probation wouldn't transfer, so I went to jail while everybody else got probation for 2 weeks, and it was just super boring.
You were in jail for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't horrible. It was just like really boring.
Because
I was going to say, it wasn't prison. You didn't have to worry about the shower.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking like county or something like this?
Yeah, county. We live in a small area, so there's only like 4
it's like
other
a
guys.
lot of cards and Scrabble.
There's 4 other guys, and then there's 2 girls, but they wouldn't let us be anywhere near the girls. Not that we were excited because they brought girls, and then they went out in the courtyard and the windows could see, and we're like, yay, we got up in the window, and we're like, oh, never mind. That was a sad day. We're like, girl, aw. So then after that, I just quit breaking laws. Like, I'm just like, I get caught every single fucking time.
That's probably a good choice.
No.
Well, hey, that's good.
I almost got an MIP, but they dropped it.
Well played.
So I've been done ever. Like I bought alcohol for minors for a couple of years after I turned 21, but then I quit.
I think and this makes me sound real shitty because you have a good reason, but like I did buy a few times, but I quit buying alcohol for minors when my friends that were directly under me in age became of age, because I never bought for people that I didn't know personally. Like
I did one time.
Yeah,
one time me and Eric were at Walmart and some girls come up and asked us, and I just thought about it, and I was just like, okay, fuck it. And I just threw their money in the bag with the alcohol and just handed it to them, and then I fucking ran off. I was like, we gotta go. This feels scary.
I was surprised because that's so out of character. I mean, if you didn't know them, I mean,
yeah, and they were like,
yeah, they could have fucking narked. They could have.
Oh yeah,
they were like 16 young. They were young as hell. I don't know why I did it. I think I was probably buzzed at the time.
But yeah, anyway, my point was that I had a few friends that were like a year and maybe 2 years younger than me, and so I would buy for them and usually drink it with them, you know.
Yeah.
But then, once they all got old enough, that was pretty much the end of those affairs.
Isn't that weird to go into a bar and then see somebody who was in grade school while you're in high school?
Yeah.
I got over that shit. My little brother's married, and I know there's like people younger than him that are married. Yeah. That was something that I wrestled with like 5 or more years ago. At this point, I'm old and I know it, and I'm accepting that. I'm geriatric. I got hip problems.
What about you, Eric? You lucky bastard.
I have lived a charmed life. I should probably be dead or in prison.
And father of about 17 children.
You should have got more of a disturbing the peace ticket for having like 4 minors in your apartment and a bunch of people peeing off the roof.
Yeah, I mean, outside of speeding tickets, that one night, which we might be talking about here later.
See, you know, like I want to get a disturbing. I don't want to, but if I get a disturbing the peace charge ever in my life, I want to go to court and fight it under the premise of what is the definition of peace.
Well, I was,
you know, like there's sirens in the city, there's constant noise, and the railroad makes so much fucking noise, like them cars banging together and shit like that, and semis going through town with their Jake brakes on and stuff. It's like, what piece am I really disturbing? You know, it was on my property. Yeah, we were being loud, but, you know, I think I just have a nosy fucking neighbor. I don't think I disturbed any piece. You know, nothing more than what regular activity does.
That night that they charged me, they gave me contributing to minors, contributing to the delinquency of minors. I don't know if there's two different charges.
I think it's essentially the same thing.
But, and then disturbing the peace, and I thought there was something else. I could be wrong on that. It's been a while. But that's the only time I've been in court, and I was so happy. I wasn't going to fight anything because they dropped the contributing charges. And
yeah, that's the big one.
So, yeah, just paid my fine and got the hell out of there.
Yeah, I was told that if I pled guilty, they would drop it down to nothing but the DUI, but they still stuck me with all of it. Apparently, when I went in to talk to the attorney, it was the attorney's assistant who made the deal with me, and then when I got into court expecting that deal, the actual attorney was like, no, that's not what we're doing. I was like, well, fucking I'm getting ambushed here, you know. I thought I had an agreement going, but apparently not. I mean, I still got off fairly easy, but they ended up charging me with MIP, DUI, open container, and no taillights.
They had to sneak that one in.
Because I'm a fucking idiot driving around a car with no taillights at fucking 8 at night. Never drive a bum car. That's just...
I always check my lights because that's a shit thing to get pulled over for.
And that's what I got pulled over for. Did not pass go. Did not collect $200. But the guy, it was a state police officer, a state trooper that pulled me over, and I was... Like I said, every time I've gotten in trouble, I've been real cooperative, even to the point where I joke around. Like, not because I think the situation's funny, but because... I
never once pled innocent to anything, except for there's this other theft that happened at the fairgrounds, but I didn't get to court. I just told the guy, I was like, we didn't have anything to do with that, I swear.
Well, and even during the arrest, like when you're talking to the cops, the dumbest thing you can do is flip cop shit. Because I hear all the time, like, people that, you know, criminal types or whatever. And they're like, oh, that cop's got a hard on for me. He's out to get me. And I'm just like,
don't break the law. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and they don't. Not only should you not break the law, but when you do and they catch you, you don't call them names and flip them shit, because put yourself in their shoes. Of course they're going to get a fucking grudge. If I'm arresting somebody and they're fucking flipping me a bunch of shit, you bet your ass I'm going to fucking, every time, I'm never going to be light on them. I'm not necessarily going to follow them around and shit like that, because that technically is not kosher.
Harassment.
Yeah, right. You can't do that. But anytime that I catch them for anything, I'm never going to fucking go light on them. Never. They're going to stick them with everything I possibly can, because if you want to be a dick when you're in the wrong, then fuck you. And I don't blame the cops for that. I don't. That's why every time I get in trouble, I'm as cool as fuck as I can be. Like with that state trooper that pulled me over for and we were talking in the cop ride, or the car on the way to the police station. And he flat out told me, he said, you know, you being this cooperative, it'll help you in the long run. And so I got charged with all that stuff, but like my fine, including the blood draw. So like the blood draw and MIP, DUI, open container, and no taillight, all that shit, the total fine plus blood draw was only $450.
Oh shit!
A lot of people
costs. A lot of people another like 30 something.
A lot of people get $450 just on an MIP or just on a DUI, but I had all that shit, and it was still.
First time my MIP was like $200.
Yeah.
And I just paid.
And you know, people told horror stories about your insurance getting raised, you know, $10,000 over the next however many years or whatever, and it did go up, but I didn't notice. Maybe it was because I don't drive a good enough car and I didn't have full coverage, but I didn't notice that my liability. It was on there for probably about 10 years. I remember like when I get my statements, it would say operation of a motor vehicle under the influence of drugs and or alcohol, and it's finally gone. But now I have like numerous speeding tickets because I'm a fucking idiot. That's another thing that bothers me. While we're on the topic of law enforcement, I've talked to certain women about how many warnings they get. This is an issue, and this seriously needs to be addressed. I don't think it should be up to the cop that pulls them over to decide whether they're going to give a warning or not, because it's completely fucking biased on this deal. I've been pulled over probably 7 times. I've gotten 2 warnings, which you know, that's fair. I'm not complaining about that. What I'm complaining about is that I know somebody personally, a female, who's been pulled over at least that many times, never been ticketed. Not fucking once.
Who is that?
I'm not going to say names.
Oh.
They don't even have to cry or like stick their chest out anymore. All they got to do is just be female, and the cop's going to go easy on them.
They're like, hey.
I wouldn't.
Can I get
Maybe
your
call
number?
me a dick, but if I'm a cop, I'm going to enforce the law equally and fairly. If I pull a woman over, I'm not going to give her a warning just because she's a woman. I might give her a warning if she was only like 4 miles an hour over the speed limit, but I don't know. I got ticketed for 4 over.
I think it's just kind of...
I was just like, I didn't do it at the time because, like I said, I'm always trying to cool the cops, but after he'd left, I'm just like, fucking really? is this worth the paperwork? You know, that's like a point. You know, why couldn't you just give me a warning?
You're just kind of abusing the
And
power.
okay, of the two times I got a warning, one time was complete bullshit because he profiled me leaving the bar. I work there, you know.
Yeah.
And he pulled out. I was at the intersection and I had my blinker on. I know because I was sober. And he passed and I pulled out behind him. And then he slows way down, like way under the speed limit. And I'm just like, well, I mean, it ain't illegal to pass him. So I flip my blinker on. I go out around him without speeding, pull back in the lane in front of him. He flips his cherries on and pulls me over. I'm like, fucking really? I didn't do anything wrong. And he told me that I didn't use my blinker leaving the bar parking lot.
Oh, they'll find any reason to
Yeah,
pull you over.
yeah. Oh, he fucking profiled me hardcore because I was leaving the bar. He pulled me over, and I was just, and I wasn't a dick about it, but I was just like, you know, you pulled me over because I was leaving the bar. You just got unlucky that I was one of like maybe 4 people that actually weren't drinking. And he's like all stumbling back on his words because he knows that you can't do that. And I was like, look, man, I'm not upset about it. You know, you're just doing your job. You just kind of got unlucky, and that this time it didn't work.
Cena got a warning one time. Going home from Wendy's up the highway there, the stoplight at J Street. She just ran through a red light right in front of the cop. That's a red light. That's a cop. She's like, and he pulled us like right over. And
Warning.
She got a warning.
Fuck
And
that.
I was in the car.
That's the kind of shit
I was in
that
the
could
car and
cause
he blamed it on me.
accidents.
He's
What?
like-
You were distracting her?
He was like, he was probably distracting you. And I was like, I was telling her that.
Was he just joking around though?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But she just got a warning.
I
I think he was just happy to
You
find out she
suppose-
wasn't drinking or something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you guys ever went through the field sobriety tests?
Yeah, well,
No,
yeah,
I don't
obviously,
drive.
I went home.
I guess
I
the
went to
one, yeah.
jail, so yeah, I went through it. I thought I did well. I'd like to see the recording from the dashboard, how you know, because like I'm like, bam, in my head, I'm like, nailed it. I'm not going to jail tonight.
On the camera, it's just you swaying back and forth. ZQ279, bitch.
What really happened is I just fell down and don't remember it. No, and then he had me, you know, of course he does the eyeball thing, which I can't pass. I don't, you know, but I tell you one thing I can do, and this is way off topic, is that I can dilate my pupils at will. I just can't focus them at will when I'm drunk.
I've been through field sobriety twice.
And you never got a DUI?
No, I mean, I would have if they made me do the stuff, but when they ask you if you have any body, whatever, that's not going to allow you to do the test.
Will you tell them you have vertigo?
No, I tell them, like, because this is the truth. In my left knee, I'm missing an ACL. My right knee, I've had all the tendons replaced. And he's like, okay. And both times they set me in the front seat with the officer. And
Right.
he asked me questions, and he just question after question after question after question, and he'll repeat a lot of the questions, waiting for you to mess up. Like,
So they didn't even make you do the physical part of it?
no,
Because like in court, I suppose it wouldn't hold because
I'd
of
be able
your...
to argue it. Yeah, I've been like, well, I couldn't walk.
Well,
the straight
fuck, if
line
I would have done that, I think, because I really do think that on the physical part, I don't think I failed any of it, in all honesty. I don't think I failed any of the field sobriety tests because my blood draw was only a .098. I was not that drunk.
Yeah, .08's... Yeah,
.08
legal.
is the legal limit. .01 or .1 used to be the legal limit. Granted, I was 20, so I was way over the minor legal limit, but I was almost at the adult legal limit. I mean, I was just barely over. I was basically buzzing, you know. And so I don't really think I really don't think I failed. I can't even pass a fucking field sobriety test right now. I don't think I failed any of the sobriety tests, whether it was talking or whatever. And I remember they said they didn't say to do the alphabet backwards because even sober people couldn't do that. They just said, you know, say the alphabet from this letter to this letter, which is actually kind of tough because you don't usually think about starting in the middle.
I couldn't do this sober.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's kind of an entrapment,
Yeah.
little.
Oh. Yeah, well, no, I just did it. Like, I'm just like, okay, well, I can't remember what letters it was from. MNOPQRSTUV. You know, and you got to stop right at the one letter because if you keep going, you know.
3 letters and then do it again.
Right. And then, so obviously I don't think I passed the little pin light test because I can't fake the fact that my pupils are dilated, and I don't think that I don't think I passed the breathalyzer, though the guy that I was with, I won't say his name because he's family and I don't know if he wants to be on it, but my stepbrother, he fucking drove my car home that night. We went beer for beer, and I'm like, you fucker, because he apparently knows how to pass a breathalyzer, and I think I have it figured out now.
Well, he's told me, he's all like, you blow all the air out of your lungs, and then whatever. I mean, you don't have much left, but blow as much as you can out, and then blow into the breathalyzer.
Well, from when because I watched him doing it, and I remember that the guy told him to keep doing it over and over and over to get it to register. Like, whereas when I did it, he's like, take a deep breath in and blow it out into the deal, and I'm just like, you know, I'm just like, my entire lung capacity is probably just, you know, it registered the first time with me, but I noticed it didn't register with him, so he was trying to fool it. But I'm pretty sure what like if anybody, like if you know how to blow smoke rings, you pull air, like when you take a drag off the cigarette, you don't bring it into your lungs. You keep it in your mouth, and then you can push it out of your mouth. It's the same way that you French inhale. People think, oh, how can you inhale and exhale at the same time? You don't. You're inhaling through your nose, but all you're doing is pushing the smoke out of your mouth with your tongue. Yeah. So I think when you're doing the breathalyzer, you don't blow from your lung capacity. You just push real hard the air out of your mouth, and that's why he had to do it a couple different times, because it didn't register the first time or the second time, but then eventually you shove enough with your tongue and you push that air out quick enough that it gets a register on there, and it doesn't go into your system, and and it doesn't give a proper reading. There was when we were living together, there was a night where I used to get all pissy and I'd fucking storm out or whatever. Not all the time, but there was a couple times where I would get all.
I used to sneak out.
Yeah, Toby had the right to. But anyway, I don't know if it was you guys or maybe I didn't even like say what my problem was, but somebody said that night got me worked up, and I was like, fuck it. I just left, and I was out tearing around north of town, and I was drunk and driving stupid. And anyway, there was a turn, and I just flat out fucking missed it. Like I cranked the wheel and started sliding, and to my fortune, there was a driveway and a farmhouse there, because if it had been the ditch, I'd have rolled that son of a bitch probably 5 times. I mean, I just, like Dukes of Hazzard style, just flew right into their driveway and ripped the tire clear off the rim. And I'm like, fuck.
Shit.
Yeah, because I seen their lights flip on. I mean, there was enough commotion that they knew something happened. And so I was like, shit, I got to get out of here. And so I just drove off on the rim. I got about a mile down the road, and I just fucking parked it. And I was about 3 or 4 miles north of town. And I just started walking. And pretty soon I get to, I'm about a mile outside of town, and I see these headlights coming. And I'm like, I had a quick thought where I was going to dive into the ditch and hide, but then I was like, they had seen me, and that just makes me look fucking really guilty if I do that. So I just kept walking, and sure enough, it was a cop. Asked me what I was doing, and I was honest to a point. I said, and he, of course, he had to have known I was drunk.
Yeah.
Because he could smell it or whatever. But I didn't actually say I had been drinking. I figured if he asked, I would say, yeah. But I didn't say that. I was just like, I got into an argument at home, and I was blowing off steam out here, and I was driving stupid, and anyway, this and that and this and that. And so he just, all he asked is if I needed to ride somewhere, and I was like, yeah, give me right back into town. And he says, well, what's the address? And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking there's a fucking party going on there, and of course this was the time there was some minors, and I'm like,
Russell's bringing
how
the cops.
Cool would I be if I show up with a party guest? So I give him an address that's not our address. And
shit.
Yeah, and
did he wait for you to go in the house?
That's what I was worried about. He waited, and I had opened the door, the outside door, and I had started to open the front door, and it was unlocked, and I had it partially open, and he drove off, and I'm just like, shut that door real quick and fucking took off running.
Well, we have
I almost had to walk into a stranger's house to try, and then I would have got trespassing on top of it. How fucking stupid is that? But then, of course, afterwards, I was all cool about myself. Like, man, I'm a smart motherfucker. I totally fooled that cop. I'm smooth. Yeah. When in reality, I'm just a drunk fucking idiot.
Have you ever heard about?
Oh yeah, walking into.
Yeah, we have a friend that got so drunk one night, but he tried to hoof it home, and he went into the wrong house. Just stripped down to his underwears and slept on the couch. But he was about 3 houses down.
Oh yeah, I never got that drunk. I never got that drunk.
The family.
I got drunk enough I couldn't find my own house, though. I was trying to come home from the bar one time, and I ended up just parking the car. Fucking town of 6,000 people, and I couldn't find my way home.
When I was living in Kearney.
It's bad news bears, kids. Stay away from alcohol.
I had to have Brandy come get me because I was trying to walk home from my buddy Phil's house, and I must have spent 3 hours. It's maybe a 20-minute walk trying to find my way home. And
all the streets look the same. There's so many cars and houses on the side of the road like that with sidewalks and porches. It's
I got lost on the reservation one time walking home. There's
you have to clarify what the reservation is, because they probably think you're talking about Indians.
No, the street names are Indian names. They're some of the nicer houses in town, but the street names are all Indian tribe names.
Yeah, like Cherokee
And
Drive.
I was walking from south of town, and I lived on the north side of town. It was the same side, but I lived farther west than the reservation.
But somehow you got on the reservation?
Well, I was like dicking around on purpose. Like I was walking down the street looking for cars with keys in the ignition, and then I open it up, throw the keys on the front seat, lock the doors, and shut them. I was in a mood that night.
I guess.
I stole somebody's flashlight, and it wasn't summer. The swimming pool was drained. I was walking around the swimming pool with the flashlight looking for shit. And the swimming pool's right by the reservation, so I fucking hop over the fence and just walk up to the reservation. And I was doing that to cars, and then halfway through, I'm like, where the fuck am I? It took like 2 hours to get out of the reservation.
You got so sidetracked by your hijinks.
Yeah, I was just goofing. I was just like, I'm such a
think about the
bastard.
reservation.
So
They're not
I
straight
guess
roads.
I broke the law there, but it wasn't meaning any harm. It was just being kind of a douche.
This is going to seem really stupid probably as I'm telling it, but like in my head it's way funnier than what it's probably going to come out. But of course, like what you were doing, just pranking. I mean,
Yeah.
technically it's probably illegal activity, but it was really just pranks. But of course we did some of that shit when we were younger, like high school age and even junior high,
Did you go larding with us?
No, I don't think we ever did that. And I remember, what was it, antiquing that everybody always talked about. But the one that we did, I don't know if you remember him, and I'll tell you who it is, but there was a friend that we had in high school, and me and my other friend, we were, going around town, and we all were hardcore. It's a town of 300 people. We're getting away with pranks. It's like, fucking nobody cares anyway. There is no police in this town, so we had nothing to worry about. If somebody called the cops, it was going to take them 20 minutes to drive from McCook, to Bartley or whatever. And so, and it's not criminal. It was just, I thought it was funny, and I'll tell it. We'd gotten into his shed, and he had a push lawnmower with the self-propel handle on it, So we go out in the street, and of course one of us is out in the street with the lawnmower, the other one's up at the porch, and we can see each other, and we kind of give the signal, and then one of them knocks on the door, and I start the lawnmower up, and I fucking tie the thing, and the light comes out, and we go running, we hide, and we look so we can see his reaction. He comes out, and he just starts shaking his head, and I'm pretty sure we can hear him say, "What the fuck?" Because his fucking lawnmower's driving down the street in front of his house. We're trying not to laugh.
That's really funny.
Like I say, if you'd have been there, it was a lot funny. And we weren't even drinking that night. That was before I started drinking. We were young when we did that.
I guess the first time, it's not really running with the law because my friends covered for me. Remember me and the Swans guy?
Yeah.
But there was a Swans man there, again, small town of 300 whatnot, and it was after football practice and all this stuff. It was late at night, maybe 9 o'clock or something.
Yeah, I remember this story, and I even then I was stupid. I thought, man, what were you guys thinking? I was just, but go ahead.
But the Swans man was 9 o'clock at night, parked out in front of some house.
Maybe you should tell people what the Schwanz Man is.
The Swans man,
because if that's not an entire United States thing, I don't think.
Oh, go ahead. You probably explain it better than I
Well, it's just a frozen food provider. The guy if you
goes house to house.
Yeah, he'd go house to house. You'd order something, and then if you ordered it, then they'd come to the house and deliver food stuff. A lot of it was frozen or whatever, and way overpriced, but it was good.
Yeah, but he was parked at the house, and it had been sitting there for a long ass time, like an hour or so. So me and my buddy go up there, and we're like, we're gonna go get some free food, and we get into his truck and everything. It's all dark out at this point, and we're in the freezer of his truck grabbing the food that we want. I had some cinnamon rolls, and he had some pizzas and stuff. But
like, you didn't sit down and eat them right there in the back of the truck, right?
No, we're gonna take it home and feast.
Yeah.
But, next thing we know, the Swans man he grabs my buddy.
Oh shit! This guy wasn't calling the cops. He was taking matters into his own hands.
He grabs my friend. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" and yelling at us and everything.
Wow.
But he pushes off of him, and we go tearing ass down the road. I mean, we're in high
So
school.
you dropped all the stuff that you were.
No, I kept. He did.
You're criminal, man.
I wasn't giving up my cinnamon rolls.
Exactly.
but he also grabbed him. I mean, I was standing like.
So he
right
didn't
next
get
to him.
enough of a look on you guys to identify you.
Yeah, but we're in football, and so
Right.
we're in shape, and we go hauling ass, and then we cut through a field, down through some yards and everything, and he couldn't catch us, but he did eventually call it in, and the sheriff.
You might not even want to do this story, because if that's an unsolved crime, you just
I
solved
think
it.
the statute of limitations is probably.
Oh, cinnamon rolls.
You go to court for fucking stealing cinnamon rolls over a decade ago.
They're Swan cinnamon rolls. Those are probably
Be like-
$15 for some shit.
Be like Interpol's linking satellites. Be like, Eric, the cinnamon roll bandit.
Yeah, you're like-
CIA.
we got a location on
You're
him.
like
move.
1 point.
SWAT goes busting through the door.
You're like 1.7 million on the list of their criminals, but they're like, we're starting at the bottom today.
You're right behind Edward Snowden.
I am one shy of being on the top 10. Yeah, I mean, but the sheriff showed up and started questioning all of our buddies and everything. They're like, "What? I don't know anything."
Everybody
about this.
covered for you.
Yeah.
See, that's crazy because I don't know. People just that many people, because that was a big thing. Almost everybody in school knew about that.
Yeah, and,
you know,
that's the thing. But it never went back to the everyone covered for us,
right?
Even our coach, which is because we had to go in and talk to the coach the next day,
right?
Because he knew about it and.
It was innocent enough. It was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, technically it's theft, but it wasn't like you guys were stealing fucking rims off of vehicles, and it wasn't. It was a criminal act, in my opinion, but not a criminal. I don't think it makes it like it was just a stupid prank, basically. Like a dumb idea. You got the idea and you did it, and
because we were driving around talking about it for a while because he was parked there for a while, and I think that maybe why it didn't get drug out is because maybe he was not supposed to be at that house. That's my theory.
Oh yeah, like maybe he was making a different kind of house call.
Yeah,
huh?
he's delivering something, but it wasn't food.
Well, sausage.
Oh, sex? You're talking about sex, maybe?
Well, she ordered some duck sausage.
A little
and so he had he was there to give her some.
Sounds like an awesome job. I bet.
I'm a delivery guy, and
It's
never,
not that
never happened.
exotic.
That's 'cause
Never
you're-
happened.
Your partner is just a cock block by just existing.
Yeah, he's pretty gross.
But ladies are like, they see
He's
you
got
first and they're like, hey, I could totally never mind.
But
Just be like, he's just here to make sure I don't get raped.
Yeah.
the girlfriend.
What we did something wrong. We're being.
Guys, help. What else you guys got?
Somebody's gonna be in the doghouse. Huh?
Yep. Oh no! No, she's going to the restroom. That's just the door closing.
Oh, I thought that was the front door.
Or if she leaves, I'm gonna
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
say
gonna sleep at your guys' place for a couple weeks.
I'll have to sleep on the kids' bunk bed, but yeah.
I had mentioned earlier that I went to court for a disturbing the peace
An incident involving.
And we are going to
Girls?
elaborate on that.
It was actually recorded from an earlier podcast that we were just kind of testing this all out. So if
We're
it
going
sounds
to test out Eric's editing skills at this very moment.
be put into the test.
So right about now, you're going to hear the horrible story of a innocence lost. This is a post-work drunk night. We work in fast food, so we close at midnight. We go off work at like 12:30 because we didn't suck. And then
But how old were we?
I
We're
was old enough,
20-something.
We were just old enough to buy, but not.
I hadn't.
but older than
I was
some
with
of the people we're drinking.
I was with her, but we hadn't. She wasn't pregnant yet, was she?
No, not at that point.
So but that was the whole reason I was with her. I know, God, that makes me sound horrible, but no, but she. So he had to have been born already, wasn't he?
He might have been.
I don't think he was. No, because you had no. Okay, this is
Was she pregnant?
This is gonna sound horrible. She was pregnant at the time because you kept saying how you could only do it from behind.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's. All right, yeah, all right.
We're at the post-work party because only me and him. Well, I guess we said our name. Me and Eric are old enough to drink, but a guy we closed with and his friend weren't old enough. They came over, and this random girl, which I still don't really know where she came from. Was she like another apartment or something?
I have no idea. She was. Well, this is horrible too because she was just sitting on the curb crying, and it makes me feel really bad.
Well, like,
It sounds
like you
like
went in your head. Your head just went off. Ding! I could probably fuck her. But then, like one of the kids, well, not kids, but one of the teenagers that was with us knew her, so she came up with us, and we were all drinking. This is probably well into the night, like 3 or so before we started.
Oh yeah, it was late by the time the story gets interesting.
Getting dirty minded, and we were trying the guy that knew her. We were trying to get them together because I think he was a virgin at the time or something, or hadn't been with too many girls.
Oh, that is not the kind of woman you'd want to lose it to, though.
No.
We were getting
Oh,
this girl
God,
to do everything.
Oh yeah,
It
we
was-
just met her. We didn't
he
know
lost
her.
all sorts of virginities that night. If that's
No,
the case,
it wasn't him. The other kid like bowed out. Like 2 other seasoned veterans came in.
tagged him in.
So yeah.
Like, step aside, son. We'll
I think
handle
it was
this
like-
one.
Well, good because she was ready for whatever.
She
just
was
happened,
ready to
which-
do whatever. Yeah.
So we were like, "Hey, guy," because I think he might have been a virgin or
No,
or
because
at least
he
not
was
not a whole lot.
because we'll call him.
Yeah. No,
Oh shit! Let's not go home.
Did you just accidentally use?
I didn't realize I didn't remember his name at all.
He knew her from like being kids or something.
Jeez.
So we were trying to get them to use, like, but he kind of had the Russell situation. He's like, I've known her for so long. He's like, plus he was shy because he'd never really done it before. So that kind of switches gear. When my boy here and this other kid, they have done some things a lot. So we start talking about just him and her going together, and like, I would start getting a little drunk by then, so I don't really remember all the details. But we got them talked into it. So like they're up there, and we're all like going down because it's a loft apartment, so we're all going down to the bottom to let that happen. And I hear a knock at the door, and I'm like,
Yeah, and at this
like,
point
hey,
of the
guys.
night, I had been gone for some time.
Oh yeah, he'd like
To
Yeah,
make
Russell
that notice.
Strip.
By the time
Sleeping
Toby heard the
hours.
knock, yeah, they were assuming
And I
that
just
I was
open the
sleeping.
door like nothing, and then I see that it's cops, and it doesn't faze me any because I'm like 22 at the time, not remembering that we have minors and shit. Because this loft apartment, out of Eric's bedroom, you just walk out on the roof, and people would just go to the bathroom there.
Oh, jeez.
And then
Is that what they got called? You pissed
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
you pissed off the veranda.
Well, because they about pissed on a girl.
Oh.
She had come out the bottom, and the stream, like she did a matrix and missed the P stream, and then that's what got it called because
Wow.
I had to pay a court fine.
But the whole him and the other girl, like, was kind of just like an idea, and it hadn't started yet. When the
cops showed up.
came in, so they all go up, and they find.
Toby was like,
find
"Yeah, the
minors.
party's up here,
And
guys.
they're like,
Got your
No,
ticket,
Lou,
got
that's
your
son
ticket
of a-
book ready."
Pretty much how it went.
Yeah. Okay, so he's all.
nothing to the I was just like, hey guys, because I was ready to go home because that was going to happen up there, and I didn't really want to see that.
So Toby sends the cops on in, and he leaves.
No, like I sat down, like he's like, stay here for a minute. So I sat down in the fucking hallway, just sitting there, and the cop comes out a little bit later after I don't know what happened in there, but I'm pretty sure some shit's going down because there's some kids in there, and comes out and he's like, you live here? I was like, no, I was just going home because I just kind of stopped myself like, I'm just going home. I was like, well, you can go then if you don't live here, and then I just kind of walk off, like. Not even like the right way through the apartment complex to the back door. I just kind of wander off through the hallways and out the front. And then I don't, from personal experience, I don't know what happened after that. I heard it.
Okay, well,
afterwards.
what happened after that was it was me and some other fellers up there. Cop comes walking up the stairs unannounced because,
Yeah, you probably thought it was Toby.
yeah, we thought it was Toby coming back up. We turned around, there's a fucking cop standing right there.
So were you guys like nut deep already, or?
No. Nothing happened with that chick until it all calmed down. But and he's all like, well, I'm gonna need to see some IDs. And the girl was all, I don't know how the fuck she got out of it. I don't think she did. I think she ended up getting.
Yeah, she was at court with us.
But the other two dudes, one dude just straight up lied.
Yeah, you didn't tell him the right name or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He's like, I don't have my ID here.
So he gave him someone else's name, or
No,
did
he
he give
just
him a
made
fake
up a name. Yeah, that's how smooth this dude is. But
Wow.
So the cops. Anyone else in the house? And I was all like, my roommate's downstairs. And then that's when the second cop come up. He's all like, I need who lives here? I'm all like, that's me, sir. And he's all like, well, I need you to come downstairs because your roommate is threatening to unleash the fury on my sorry ass. Okay, Russell, now you take it from here.
My girlfriend at the time had showed up, and so early in the night we had gone into the bedroom, and of course, they're all oblivious. But we were marathon fucking, basically, was what was going on, because I was drunk, and sometimes that's just how it happened. And then, and this is not meant to be insensitive, but sometimes, you throw in the fact, too, that she was pregnant, and it was like, I can do it when that's happening, and I can still get turned on or whatever, but it's just different, You have to adjust and things like that. And like I said, we already discussed earlier how easily I can mentally put myself out of a situation.
Yeah.
That was mentally putting me out of the situation. So
You
we
mean
had
the cops
going on.
knocking on the door?
No. The fact that she was pregnant and I was drunk and all this other, all these factors were playing into where I was not having as good a time as I had wanted to have.
Yeah.
But I was bound and determined to get what was coming to me.
Which would be what?
And so we were on the floor, like almost right in front of the door. And of course, like you had mentioned, it was doggy style because the other way was difficult to pull off. And all I see at the bottom of the door was a flashlight. And I thought that you guys The idea of it being a cop just did not even cross my mind because I had no idea what was going on out there. I thought you guys thought you were going to be all funny and busting in on me and her fucking. And so when you got right out the side, well, when I say when you got,
how immature do you think we are?
When you got right outside the door, at least I thought was you. I was like, you open that door, and so help me God, I will unleash the fucking fury on your ass. And then it just walked away. So I was like, I thought it would hurt. I could have swore I heard some snickering, and then I guess maybe he did. He may have laughed because you said he had a shit-eating grin on his face.
Yeah, he come up the stairs kind of giggling to himself. And
he knew that we were fucking in there. The guy, they were just being dicks. It wasn't like we were being quiet. He knew that that's what was going on. There wasn't nothing criminal going on. He just like, we want to interrupt these guys fucking, so.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad that happened because it was getting pretty intense with the lies. And when he come up there and said that you were going to unleash the fury, it broke the tension. It totally changed topic because,
So he ended up coming back down. Like he said, you need to come down, but he ended up coming back down. And if he'd have just said this the first time, I'd have been
hey,
all.
This is the police.
He says this is the police. We're gonna have you come out of that room. And I almost said, well, why didn't you say that the first time and save me the embarrassment of telling you I was gonna unleash the fury when I thought you were my roommate?
Like, you want in on this?
Yeah, and so I'm just like, the walk of shame because when.
Oh, I know that well.
Yeah, because he knew we were fucking. She was not being quiet about it. I mean, I generally was quiet, but like she never was. And so when the flashlight was out there, she was, in fucking soprano mode. So nice. He knew what was going on. Why didn't he just leave us alone? That's what I don't get.
Maybe you were murdering her, and she's just really happy about
just
it.
making sure that you were old enough to still be there.
Yeah,
even though you weren't involved in the drinking.
Yeah, but hasn't that guy ever been in the process, man? How fucked up is that?
Well, maybe he's just hoping to see a titty.
Communication is important. Communication in the bedroom is incredibly important in order to avoid lawsuits.
No comment.
I'm going to need your driver's license and birth certificate, please.
Maybe you should have got this before we started. Shh.
You're rooting through her purse afterwards.
And nope.
I am so worried right
now. No whammy. Stop.
This is bad.
We'll have to do because
You suppose we have enough with the other story then there?
Yeah, I think between what we got, because we talked 40 minutes straight, and then
when you get on something where you can keep the talk going and everybody's anxious to give their story, that goes really well.
Yeah, it went quick, but
granted, we did I don't know the law enforcement was pretty much just a cop out to tell silly stories because I have my opinions, but I don't want to get in some fucking sort of political
we
rant
can't,
shit.
Yeah. I mean,
they can't always be. I just figure it's good to follow it up with something silly when we did the urban legends. I'm not saying it's bad. It was kind of serious at times.
Yeah.
Toby, where can they reach you?
They can reach me at TobyM25 on Twitter and Instagram, Toby Hayden on Facebook, and they can catch me on the website at tolerablenausea.com.
Okay. Russell K?
Website as well, tolerablenausea.com. Comment on the podcasts or leave a comment in the individual sections. You can find them at the top of the website.
Okay, and they can find me either at Eric Morris on Facebook. I have a Calvin Hobbs as my profile or whatever. And then catch me on the website. Be sure to...
Should we spell Tolerable Nausea? Because, in public, I've been talking to people, and I tell them about the website, and they're like, how do you spell that? Because people apparently don't know how to spell tolerable.
Yeah, hit it out.
And nausea even gives... Well, now I got to make sure I spell it right.
I type it all the time. So.
TOLERABLENAUSEA. No spaces, no underscores, .com.
Yep.
Yeah. And then if you want your email read on the show or you want to ask us a question, we don't have to read it. Just please state whether or not you want your name mentioned or not. Hit us up at tolerablenausea@gmail.com.
Yep, just drop us a line. Let us know what you think.
You can listen to us at the website. You can just stream straight from the website, or I'm trying to get us on more directories. I've just been kind of lazy about it. But we are on the two main ones, Stitcher and iTunes. If you got some time, throw up a review, a comment on iTunes, and help us out a little bit there. And now, Russell's quote of the day.
All right, so the quote of the week comes from Bertrand Russell, and the reason I picked this quote has nothing to do, well, not really with law enforcement, but I've kind of been down the rabbit hole recently, reading up on a bunch of stuff that I won't get into, but this week's quote has to do with war. It's been one of my favorite quotes for a while. But war does not determine who is right, only who is left.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple, but it's like, yeah, you know.
It's very true. I mean,
it's simple and it's deep. I like that quote.
It kind of relates into that.
Two countries or two whatever, in most cases religions, have a conflict, an armed conflict. The winner ain't necessarily right. The winner just is the one who won.
It's like, I don't know where I've heard it before, but it kind of relates into who writes history.
Exactly. History is written by the ones that win.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yep.
I was thinking, especially coming on where the chemical attacks in Syria, whether or not we're going to go into another war.
Well, yeah, that kind of current events sort of did maybe play into that, a little bit. But that quote is particularly deep when you consider that it came at the end of a completely nonsensical podcast. It's like, where the hell did a quote about something serious come from?
Leaving everybody with some thought.
Yeah, I could have looked up a silly quote, I suppose, and I'm sure I could have found silly quotes about cops. There's probably plenty of them out there from comedians or whoever,
Yeah, involving donuts and stuff.
Yeah, cliches or whatever.
Yeah, be who you are. It's good.
The thing about cops liking donuts and how cliche that is? Everyone likes donuts. Delicious. Why do we give cops so much shit for liking donuts?
Well,
everyone likes donuts.
Food, so you don't count.
Is a cinnamon roll a donut? Because I'll eat cinnamon rolls all day.
Pecan rolls are probably my favorite.
But I don't think cops like donuts any more than...
Yeah. They just,
they
work shitty hours, so they go to a place and they get some coffee and a fucking donut. But, so like, oh, cops like donuts. I was like, no, they don't make fucking steak sandwiches at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Good point. But somebody shows up, not every day, but a lot of times, maybe once a week or maybe even a couple times a week with donuts at more places that I work, and nobody flips us shit about liking donuts. Cops just the only ones that catch it, I guess.
Well, this is because so many people are anti-cop because, they're being dicks and stuff. So it's like, I'm not anti-cop at all. They're doing their job. And if you broke the law, you should probably be punished if you got caught for it.
I mean, yeah, when you're getting punished for doing something you shouldn't be doing, then you're anti-cop because...
I was never anti-cop. I never thought, we need to get rid of these.
I take the Russell philosophy.
When I got caught, I was anti-Russ. It's like, I'm a dumb fuck.
Just be honest.
I was just anti-boredom. All the dumb shit I did is just out of boredom in this shitty small town. I didn't actually take anything to get any monetary value out of it or anything. And I got caught, and I got in trouble, and I deserved it, and I paid the fines, and I paid the time.
I mean...
Don't be a douche.
I
get a job. Don't be a douche.
All the things I've done in the past and where I should be in life... And I'm pretty fucking thankful that
your butthole's
like you said,
intact.
you have lived a charmed life. Huh?
Yeah,
you're a pretty guy. You went to prison, you'd totally be.
Oh, if I went to prison, I would be in so much trouble.
Yeah, you'd have so much dick in your butt.
I would. Yeah. I'd be very familiar with a lot of penises, I would think, if I ever went to prison. You guys done?
Yeah, I'm good. Cranberry elephants.